Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Erika Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Erika Cruz, and mark your days on the calendar, ladies and gentlemen. January 3rd, 2026, live from the Coliseo Roberto Clemente in San Juan, Puerto Rico, for un gran noche de boxeo. A tremendous night of boxing live from the Coliseo Roberto Clemente, headlined by Amanda the Real Deal Serrano versus Erika Cruz, the rematch in what should be a great action war. The first fight was fight of the year, and this time I expect it to be no different. And even more now that it's actually 3 rounds. I mean, 3 minutes per round than 2 minutes like last time. But before we get into that great main event, I want to get into the card in its entirety, ladies and gentlemen. That was officially announced earlier this morning by Most Valuable Promotions, Jake Paul and Amanda Serrano. It's a 6-fight card, ladies and gentlemen, on hand at El Coliseo Roberto Clemente. And let's get into it, guys. I got a fight here. The first fight, super bantamweight division at 122 pounds. De Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. You got Chris Echevarria. Very hard name to pronounce, guys. He has a record of 9 wins, 1 loss, 4 KOs. He's gonna be taking on fellow Puerto Rican Gabriel Beraldi Cruz, 7-3, 3 KOs, guys. Battle of Puerto Ricans here is not gonna be the first on the card, man. And I'm gonna get to it in a little bit later on in the video. One that is very exciting for me. Like I said, I'm gonna get into that in a little bit in this video. But yeah, I'll be honest, guys. This fight, I'm not too familiar with these guys at all. This is the first time that I've seen or heard about these guys. I can tell you this though, Chris Echevarria, 9-win, 1 loss, 4 KOs, de Aguada, Puerto Rico. I saw a fight from 2 years ago, and based on what I saw, he fights Mexican. He's a come forward fighter, hard puncher, and looks for that nip and tuck kind of fight. So he's very exciting to watch. Based on what I saw, I'm like, damn, this kid comes to fight. But Gabriel Beraldi Cruz, I don't have any tape on him. I've never seen or heard of him before. Like I said, not even Chris. I've never seen or heard of him before. But like I said, I was able to watch some tape of Chris, and I was impressed with what I saw. So I'm expecting a fan-friendly performance by Chris Echevarria versus Gabriel Beraldi Cruz, de Sidra, Puerto Rico. So that should be the first fight on the card, ladies and gentlemen, kicking things off. And then you got Jean Paul Rivera. John Paul Rivera. Some people say Gene out there, but John Paul Rivera, 13-0, 7 knockouts, versus Alfredo Salcero Cruz. John Paul de Salinas, Puerto Rico, and you got Alfredo Salcero Cruz de San Juan, Puerto Rico, in a battle of featherweights at 126 pounds. On one side, you got John Paul Rivera, who is the best 126-pounder out of Puerto Rico. That's a big deal coming into this fight against Alfredo Cruz, who's coming off a win over Carlos Arrieta, very good amateur fighter in his time during his amateur career, very good amateur background, good fighter. So Alfredo Cruz able to get a unanimous decision win over Arrieta, and so he's 10-3, 1 draw, 5 knockouts. Now, even though he has 3 losses, this is gonna be a good test for Jean Paul Rivera, John Paul Rivera. Alfredo Cruz, who's very tall, lengthy, can box, buen boxeo, he has a good boxing skills, good power, likes to mix it up, just like John Paul Rivera likes to mix it up. More tight, more compact, sharp, excellent boxer puncher, likes to mix it up a little, like I just said. And I can see these two guys early going, displaying their boxing skills. It's gonna be a tremendous boxing match in the early going, but I can expect these two guys to get into a firefight later on in the fight because Alfredo Salcedo Cruz, he does not shy away from it. He has urgency in his fights. He shows it, and he comes to fight as well. And Jean Paul Rivera, as always, as you've seen him, you follow him before, he comes to fight as well. Not only in box, but comes to fight as well. So this is going to be a very exciting fight at 126 pounds. Cause you got both guys coming in there with momentum, um, and it should be a banger. And then you got the return of Henry Moncho Lebron, um, one of the best junior lightweights in the world at 130 pounds. 20-0, 10 KOs. De Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, who has not fought in almost a year. By the time he gets into the ring on January 3rd, it'll be a little over a year. Coming off his win over Christopher Pitufo Diaz, who was just in the world title shot, in the world title fight, who produced a fight of the year candidate against Eduardo Nunez in Mexico. And Henry Lebron was, before the inactivity, you know, I felt he belonged in that title fight with Nunez than Pitufo. Now, with Pitufo, I always knew that was going to be a better fight, which what we saw. But Henry Monto Lebron deserved that shot. He defeated Pitufo. He's still undefeated. Before the inactivity, he was top fighter at 130 pounds. He's still ranked in the top 10, even with the inactivity. But the thing is, how will he look with the inactivity? I mean, to me, I expect to see Henry Moncho Lebron sharp, showing his feet, excellent boxing skills. I expect a tremendous performance. You know, December 7th of 2024 was the last time we saw Moncho Lebron, and he's back against Juan Tapia out of Brownsville, Texas. 14-4, 5 KOs. They didn't want to give, so it's been a while since Moncho fight, so they're not gonna give him a shark to fight. It's been a minute since he fought. So Juan Tapia, who is known to have fought Shakur Stevenson a couple of years ago, maybe a little more than that, and Shakur Stevenson stopped him in 4 rounds. So this is supposed to be what it is. This is supposed to be a tune-up fight. I expect to see Henry Moncho Lebron display his skills, his talent, boxing IQ, the pedigree, counter punching, excellent combinations on the inside, and just displaying a boxing clinic. Displaying a boxing clinic. This is what this fight is all about. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the return of Henry Moncho Lebron, so he can continue what he was doing when where he left off after the Pitufo fight. And then you got the fight that I'm looking forward to, besides the main event. Is a battle between two Puerto Ricans. A battle of Boricuas, ladies and gentlemen, in 2020 Olympian de Toa Alta, Puerto Rico, Yanquiel Rivera. 7-0, 1 draw, 3 KOs in this fight, taking on the former WBO champion at 108 pounds, who hasn't fought in a little over a year, and Jonathan La Bomba Gonzalez. 28-4, 1 draw, 14 KOs. On paper, this fight it can go either way on paper. It's just a tremendous fight on paper. But when the bell rings, that's another story. Yanquiel Rivera with the deep amateur background, the pedigree from being the only Puerto Rican to represent Puerto Rico in the 2020 Olympics. Sharp counter puncher, good power, excellent ring IQ, fundamentals. And then on the other side, you got Jonathan La Bomba Gonzalez, who's been around the block for some time, who is a former world champion, who has a resume that something Yanquiel doesn't have, which is a lot of solid competition. Yanquiel, Jonathan La Bomba Gonzalez has fought a who's who during his time in his weight class. Giovanni Segura, Josai Tanaka, Edwin La Pulga Soto, Shokichi Iwata, Reina El Chulo Santiago, Anthony Arzacawaga. So the resume is day and night compared to Yanke Rivera. Yanke Rivera wants what Jonathan has and has had in his career, which is the glory of being a world champion, making money, pretty good money. And Yankee wants that. He's never been a world champion. He's never had that big win yet, and that's what Yankee wants. I've been following Bomba for years now, and I've been following him leading up to the announcement of this fight. I've been watching him in his stories on Instagram and social media saying that the comeback is going to be personal. It's going to be better than ever. I'm back better than ever. No one's going to stop me. I will be world champion again. This is Bomba's words, man. So even though he hasn't fought in a year, he's coming into the fight against a very active Yankee Rivera, who is, I'm sure a lot of people are expecting Yankiel to win the fight because he's undefeated. He's the one on the rise. But honestly, to me, I won't be surprised if Bomba actually comes in here and wins this fight because Bomba, even though in his last fight he lost right after a headbutt by Anthony Azakuaga, he buckled Anthony twice in that fight prior to the head clash. Right, this is the guy that's been world champion, who's fought some really good fighters. I think the year inactivity have given Bomba some rest. He's in the gym, man. He's in shape. If you see him right now in his stories and all that stuff, he's in shape. He ain't wasting no time. Um, so in regards to the success that Bomba has had in his career, winning a world title already, he's coming into this fight with that same hunger that he had prior to winning the world title. So you got that Bomba with all that experience and hungry against a hungry Yankee Rivera who wants what Bomba has and had, which is a world title and that big win. On paper, it can go either way, but when that bell rings, like I said, it's another story. Bomba is an excellent boxer puncher, fights well on his back foot, very good counter puncher, can also be an aggressor in the fight. He likes to take the fight to you as well. And then Yankee Rivera, who has excellent timing, good boxer puncher as well, excellent feet, the ring generalship, the IQ, all that amateur background. Um, will come into play, and it's going to be very interesting, man. This is a very exciting fight. And then you got the co-main event in what should be a very good fight, ladies and gentlemen, for the WBA lightweight title in the women's division. You got the champion in Stephanie Han, who will be defending her title for the very first time, 11-0, 3 KOs against Albuquerque, New Mexico's own boxing legend, MMA legend all in one, Holly Holmes. 34-2, 3 draws, 9 knockouts. Before UFC, ladies and gentlemen, Holly Holmes came into the UFC, came into MMA with a successful boxing career. She was already world champion in 3 divisions. Based on my understanding, she went in UFC, scored the biggest upset, if not the biggest upset in the history of MMA, knocking out Ronda Rousey. Became a superstar after that fight. Now back to boxing, coming off a win by unanimous decision. Prior to that fight, she ain't boxed in years. She ain't boxed since 2011, prior to that fight. So she won that fight by unanimous decision, looking good at 44, and now she's given a world title fight in this fight, a world title opportunity in this fight against a champion that's on the rise and beating everyone that's put in front of her with the experience. So she's fighting a good fighter, beating everyone that's put in front of her, who's supposed to be in her time, in her moment. Here come Holly Holmes at 44 with all the experience she's had in her fighting career. Um, she may have a chance to win a world title once again for the first time in a long time in boxing. So it's a very intriguing fight. Not only that, to see Holly Holm perform in Puerto Rico, I think this will be the first time she's ever fought on the island in her boxing career or in her professional fighting career, MMA and boxing. So it'll be a privilege to see Holly Holmes fight, not only fight, but fight for a world title in Puerto Rico. It's a very intriguing fight. Um, I'm looking forward to that one. When I saw the poster, I was like, whoa, Holly Holmes in Puerto Rico on a title fight. That's 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 very exciting. And I say it because Friday the tickets go on sale, and guess what? I'm buying my ticket, man. I'm buying my ticket. I if you had any curiosity, if you had any wonders, Miracle Boy Boxing will be in attendance. He will be in attendance in El Coliseo Roberto Clemente to catch this tremendous event. Um, the main event, ladies and gentlemen, the one that everyone has bought their tickets for, the one that everyone is going to file in El Coliseo Roberto Clemente for, the main event in what was a great war 2 years ago in New York for the unified featherweight titles. It was 10 rounds, 2 minutes, and these two women are going to do it again, but only this time they're going to do it 3 minutes per round, and this is just going to be a barn burner once again, ladies and gentlemen. A barn burner on the island. Amanda, the real deal Serrano, coming home to defend her crown. One of the greatest women fighters of all time. One of the greatest boxers to ever put on a pair of gloves. One of the greatest pound for pound female fighters on the planet. Future Hall of Famer, the legend. 47-4, one draw, 3 KOs. Amanda, the real deal Serrano versus Erika Cruz out of Mexico, Distrito Federal, 18-2, one draw, 4 knockouts. A former WBA featherweight champion of the world who's looking to come into Puerto Rico to spoil the party, to get her title back, to get revenge back, to join this list of great Mexican and Puerto Rican fights on the island. She's coming to try to do the Orlando Salido versus Juanma Lopez twice. She's coming to do Giovanni Segura versus Bomba. She's coming to do Giovanni Segura versus Ivan Calderon. Spoil the party in what should be a war. Big cut. Amanda suffered during Katie Taylor rematch in her second fight. With the way these two women are going to come and fight, don't be surprised that cut opens up. This is going to be the fight. The first fight was a bloodbath. One of the best women fights I've ever seen. Now they're going to do it again, 3 minutes. And styles make fights in boxing, guys. These two women are meant for each other. And I can't expect anything less than what we got the first time. And even more. Especially now that there's an extra minute in the fight. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night of action, tremendous card, and I'm looking forward to it. And another thing before I finish this video, I was at the Amanda fight the last time Amanda fought in Puerto Rico, the last card, I was at that card when she took on Nina Menique. I got the shirt. Please, Amanda Serrano, do us all a favor. For everyone that's coming to see you fight in person, especially like myself, do not color your hair because that's what happened the last time I came to see you fight in Puerto Rico. The fight never happened. Moments before the walkout, there was none. It was one of the most bizarre moments in the history of boxing. You know, you got the fan man coming down from a parachute in the middle of Evander Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe fight. You got Mike Tyson getting disqualified for biting Holyfield's ears off in the middle of a fight. And then you got Amanda the real deal Serrano, who packed the house in a Jolie Seal 16,000 strong. Everyone's waiting for her to come out. Then you got then all of a sudden you see Nina Menique coming in with no gloves on, just hand wraps. Here comes Amanda Serrano with a hoodie and shades on. And you're wondering what the hell is going on here. Then to process that the fight's not going to happen. Canceled. So I was a part of one of the most bizarre moments in the history of boxing. A main event, moments from happening, canceled. So this time around, do us all a favor. Don't mess up this great fight. Don't touch your ear. No die, please. We don't need any of it. We don't need any of it. I haven't had any luck with Amanda Serrano these past couple the couple fights that I've been to for Amanda Serrano. I've had no luck. One never happened. Two, she lost to Katie Taylor in the third fight, and one the least action pack of the fights. What to expect on January 3rd besides a great fight? Well, hopefully it's third time's the charm, man. For me, I had two bad luck with Amanda Serrano, 2 occasions. So hopefully I can experience a great fight, which I will, I expect, and I can see Amanda have her hand raised. But it's Mexico versus Puerto Rico, baby. It's another great chapter, and it is going to be another great chapter. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below on this tremendous card by Most Valuable Promotion live from the Coliseo Roberto Clemente in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Moncho Lebron coming back after a year off of inactivity. John Paul Rivera versus um, Alfredo Salcedo Cruz. Yanquiel Rivera versus Jonathan La Bomba Gonzalez in a tremendous battle of Puerto Rican fighters. In a fight that can go either way on paper. And like I said, when the bell rings, man, expect anything. I mean, I won't be surprised if Bomba wins because Yanquiel have turned in a couple performances that make you say, eh. And then Bomba have turned in performances that have never made you say, when it goes to decision. Bomba has been, during his title run especially, he's been impressive. And in those decisions during his title run, it was never a doubt that he didn't want those fights. But like I said, Bomba has been in the trenches. He's been around the block a long time. Something Yanquiel has not been around the block. Something that Yanquiel hasn't done. He has not been around the block long enough yet. He's had a pretty good career so far, but nothing close to Bomba. Experience plays a big factor in a fight. And a hungry Bomba, with all the experience and the glory he's had in his career, it's pretty intriguing to see him come into this fight with that type of mentality against a guy that who's undefeated, who is supposed to be his time, Olympian, who I think can be a world champion. So we'll see. We'll see. This is a very good fight. And then you got Holly Holmes coming for a world title for the first time in years, looking to become a 4th-division world champion against Stephanie Hahn, 11-0, 3 KOs, WBA lightweight champion. And then you got the great main event between Amanda Serrano versus Erika Cruz. So drop in the comment section below, guys. Let me know what you think about this card. What's your fight you're looking forward to on this card? And let me know what you guys think. Miracle Boy Boxing, guys. I am your host, Austin Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys on January 3rd in El Coliseo Roberto Clemente. Whoever will be there live. I'll see you guys in person. Whoever will be there live in person. I'll see you guys in there. And then I'll also see you guys in my next video. Peace.